Okay, if everyone please take your seats, we're going to go ahead and get started. Alrighty. Okay, welcome you all. This is the board work session and governance workshop. Today's date is Wednesday, May 13th. The time is 5:31 p.m. This meeting is being held at the Lancaster ISD Board Auditorium at 422 South Center Avenue, Lancaster, Texas, 75146. This meeting has been posted in accordance to the Texas Open Meetings Act. I will now call roll. Ms. Cortez? Present. Mr. Jones?
Present.
Ms. Nichols?
Present.
Ms. Morris?
Present.
Mr. Lewis?
Present.
Mr. Smith?
Here for about 2 more weeks.
Myself present. Okay. Dr. Prairie, do we have any citizens' communications?
Madam President, to my knowledge, we do not have any.
Okay. Okay, at this time, we're going to start off with board matters. A is the consideration of board action to approve the Canvas certification of May 2nd, 2026 Lancaster ISD bond election. On Wednesday, May 13th, 2026, the Lancaster ISD Board of Trustees, Board President Marion Hamilton, Board Vice President Queenie Nichols, Secretary Carolyn Morris, Trustee Darrell Lewis, Trustee Janae Cortez, Trustee Ty Jones, and Trustee Kendall Smith will canvass the results of the May 2nd, 2026 joint and special election for bond election, officially declaring Lancaster ISD Proposition A, Proposition B, Proposition C, Proposition D by Texas law. 2 trustees constitute a quorum for this regular board meeting. Proposition A, for 1,218 votes, against 804, total votes cast 2,022. Proposition B, for 1,259 votes, against 774 votes, total votes cast 2,033. Proposition C, for 1,164, against 871 votes, total votes cast 2,032. Proposition D, for votes 1,156, against 876, total votes cast 2,032. Based on the canvass results for the joint and special election for the bond election on Saturday, May 2nd, 2026, the Lancaster Independent School District's propositions A, B, C, and D passed. Okay, board, this is an action item. Is there a motion?
Madam President,
Ms. Morris?
I'll make a motion that we accept the canvas for May 3rd, from May 3rd, May 2nd, 2026 for the canvas of the vote A, B, C, and D.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Morris.
President, I second.
Okay, have a second by Ms. Nichols. So we have a motion by Ms. Morris, second by Ms. Nichols to approve the canvas of the certification of May 2nd, 2026 for Lancaster ISD bond election, proposition A, B, C, and D. If you all will please vote from your devices.
Secretary Morris, whenever you're ready.
Mine is not, let me refresh, it didn't come out.
I don't have a vote either.
Okay. Secretary Morris, would you like to do a verbal vote?
Yes, ma'am, it didn't come out. Thank you.
Okay. What is your vote?
Yes.
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 Trustee Janae, would you like to do a verbal
Yes.
vote?
My vote is yes.
Okay. Trustee Kendall Smith?
Yes.
Madam President, on behalf of the Lancaster ISD Board of Trustees, to approve the canvas certification of May 2nd, 2026 in regards to the canvas of the results for the Lancaster ISD bond election for propositions A, B, C, and D. Motion was made by Secretary Carolyn Morris, seconded by Vice President Queenie Nichols. Motion carried unanimously.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, we'll move on to B, consideration of board action to approve resolution in order declaring results of the May 2nd, 2026 Lancaster ISD bond election. Okay, I will read the resolution into the record. Certification for order canvassing election results, the state of Texas, county of Dallas, Lancaster Independent School District. We, the undersigned officers of the board and trustees of the board of the Lancaster Independent School District, hereby certify as follows. 1, the board convened in a regular meeting on May 13, 2026 at the designated meeting place, and the roll was call of the duty constituent officers and members of the board to Marion Hamilton, President, Queenie Nichols, Vice President, Carolyn Ann Morris, Secretary, Janae Cortez, Daryl Cluis, Ty Jones, Kendall Smith, and all of the said persons were present, whereupon, among other business, the following was transacted and said and written. Order canvassing election returns was duly introduced for the consideration of the board. It was the duly moved and second and said, order be passed, and after the discussion, the motion carrying with the passage of order prevailed and carried with all members of the board shown present above voting. 2, a true, full, and correct copy of the afforded order passed by the meeting described in the above and foregoing paragraph is attached to the following of this certificate. An order has been duly recorded in the board's meeting and said, and above the foregoing paragraph is true, full and correct, excerpt from the board's minutes and said the meeting participants of the passage, qualified and acting officers and the members of the board has indicated therein that each of the officers and members of the board was duly and significantly notified officially and personally in advance of the time, place, and purpose of the aforesaid meeting, and that said order would be introduced and considered for passage in said meeting, and each of the said officers and members consisted in above in advance to the holding and said meeting of such purpose, and that the meeting was open to the public, and public notice of the time, place, and purpose of the said meeting was given all as required by the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. 3, the board has approved the order, and the president and secretary of the board hereby declare that the signing of the certificate shall constitute the signing of the attached and following copy of the said order for all purposes, signed and sealed on May 13, 2026, to be signed by board secretary and board president. Okay, board, this is an action item.
Madam President,
Ms. Nichols.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the resolution in order of declaring the results of May 2nd, 2026 Lancaster ISD bond election.
Okay, have a motion by Ms. Nichols. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, have a motion by Ms. Nichols and a second by Ms. Morris to approve the board action to approve resolution in order declaring results of the May 2nd, 2026 Lancaster ISD board election. If you all will vote from your devices, please.
Trustee Kendall Smith, would you like to do a verbal vote? Madam President, on behalf of the Lancaster ISD Board of Trustees, to approve resolution and order declaring results for May 2nd, 2026 Lancaster ISD bond election for propositions A, B, C, and D. Motion was made by Vice President Queenie Nichols, seconded by Secretary Carolyn Morris. Motion carried unanimously.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Allen. And you all, just for the record, let me make a point of clarification. I just read you all actually the order canvassing election results. Now I'll read you, there's the actual resolution of order and canvass election results. You all have already voted on both. The state of Texas, Dallas County, Lancaster Independent School District, whereas the Board of Trustees ordered an election to be held in the Lancaster Independent School District on May 2nd, 2026 on the proposition herein after stand, and has authorized all matters pertaining to the election, including the order giving notice, officers holding and making returns of the election, and whereas the election officers who held the election have duly made the returns of all results thereof, and said returns have been duly delivered to the board. And whereas it is hereby officially found to determine that the meeting at which this order was adopted was open to the public, and public notice of the time, place, and purpose of the said meeting was given, all as required by Chapter 551 Texas Government Code. Now therefore be it ordered by the Board of Trustees of Lancaster Independent School District, 1, the board officially finds and determines that the election was duly ordered, that proper notice of the election was duly given, that proper election officers were duly appointed prior to the election, and the election was duly held, that the district has complied with the Federal Voting Rights Act and the Texas Election Code, that due returns of the results of the election have been made and delivered, and that the board has duly canvassed said returns, all in accordance to the law of the order calling the election. 2, the board officially finds and determines that the following votes were cast at the election on the submitted propositions by the residents, qualified electors of the district who vote at the election. 1,218 votes for, 804 votes against. Lancaster Independent School District Special Election Proposition A. Shall the Board of Trustees of Lancaster Independent School District be authorized to issue bonds of the district in one or more series in aggregate principal amount of $3.2 million for the purpose of designating constraints, renovating, improving, upgrades, updating, modernizing, acquiring and equipping schools and support facilities in the district, district-wide safety and security upgrades, including technology, network, infrastructure, and equipment, and the purchase of necessary sites for school facilities with the bond to mature, bear interest, and be issued and solid in accordance with the law at the time of issuance. And shall the Board of Trustees be authorized to levy and pledge and cause to assess the collected annual ad valorem taxes and all taxable property in the district sufficient without limit as to rate or amount to pay the principal of and the interest on the bonds, and that cost of any credit agreements executed in connection with the bonds. 1,258 votes for, 774 votes against. Lancaster Independent School District Special Election Proposition B. Shall the Board of Trustees of the Lancaster Independent School District be authorized to issue bonds of the district in one or more series in the aggregated principal amount of $3.5 million for the purpose of acquiring the updating instructional technology equipment for student and staff use, which the bonds to mature, bear interest, and be issued and sold in accordance with the law at the time of issuance. And shall the Board of Trustees be authorized to levy and pledge and cause to be assessed and collected annual ad valorem taxes on all taxable property in the district, sufficient without limit as to rate or amount to pay the principal and the interest on the bonds and the cost of any credit agreements executed in connection with the bonds. 1,161 votes for, 875 votes against. Lancaster Independent School District Special Election Proposition C. Shall the Board of Trustees of the Lancaster Independent School District be authorized to issue bonds of the district in one or more series in aggregated principal amount of $35,250,000 for the purpose of constructing, renovating, improving, upgrading, updating, modernizing, acquiring, and equipping the multipurpose indoor athletic facility at Lancaster High School with the bonds to mature, bear interest, and be issued and sold in accordance with law and at the time of issuance? And shall the Board of Trustees be authorized to levy and pledge and cause to be assessed and collected annual ad valorem taxes on all taxable property in the district, sufficient with limit as to rate or amount to pay the principal of the interest on the bonds and the cost of any credit agreements executed in connection with the bond. 1,156 votes for, 875 votes against. Lancaster Independent School District Special Election Proposition D. Shall the Board of Trustees of Lancaster Independent School District be authorized to issue bonds of the district in one or more series in the aggregated principal sum of $15,250,000 for the purpose of renovating, improving, upgrading, updating, modernizing, acquiring, and equipping stadium for student athletes, which the bonds to mature bear interest and be issued and sold in accordance with the law at the time of the issuance, and shall the Board of Trustees be authorized to levy and pledge and cause to assess and collect annual ad valorem taxes on the taxable property in the district, sufficient without limit as to rate or amount to pay the principal and the interest of the bonds and the cost of any credit agreements executed in connection with the bonds. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all, that was long. We had 4 propositions. So, we have already taken action on both documents. We'll now move to C, which is discussion of nominations for TASB Board, Region 10, Position D, seat on the Texas Association of School Boards. Lancaster ISD Board is invited to nominate a trustee from the board for Region 10, Position D, seat D on the Texas Association of School Boards TASB position, which is currently held by Kevin Carbo, Mesquite ISD, who will not seek re-election. This year, the nomination period is from April 23rd to June 23rd, 2026. And Ms. Allen has provided that information to us. We'll move on to teaching and learning. A, discussion of the 2026-2030 CCMR accountability updates. Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, Madam President. I have Ms. Bell to deliver that information to our board and to our community. And today is Ms. Bell's birthday. So, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. So as you all know, there are some things that are ever changing around accountability. Feels like we're always just trying to get our nose above the water in the sense is trying to understand, learn, and prepare and make sure we have the right resources. Ms. Bell's going to share a little bit about those changes that are upcoming and how it will potentially or can potentially impact us. Ms. Bell, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam President, distinguished board members, and Dr. Pereira. This evening, I would like to present our 2026-2030 CCMR Accountability Update. And so, as you know, there have been many changes over the last decade with CCMR. This particular timeline, I just wanted you to have all of the plethora of changes that have occurred over the year, including that big refresh that we had back in 2023. So that is information for your leisure. Also, I wanted to present the timeline for the CCMR with some of the most recent changes that are going to impact us, like right here, right now, and into the near future up to 2033. So one of the things that I wanted to just underscore for you is that the big major changes that are coming up is that we'll have a 5% cap on our industry-based Tier 3 certifications, and that ends for us. We have to, that cap for us takes place by the end of 2030. Here's the good news. We don't have any Tier 3 industry-based certifications at this time. We only have Tier 2, so that won't impact us necessarily at this point. Also, the next biggest thing that's going to impact us is the differentiated CCMR weighting that's coming up with our 2030 cohort, and it's our 2031 accountability year. And so this won't be the last time that you'll see me giving updates, and so just kind of put that feather in your hat and just know that those are 2 big changes that are coming about as we roll forward with CCMR. Why are we doing this? Basically, the state has come together and they created the House Bill 8, or they legislated House Bill 8 and came up with these required changes. And simply put, they're saying that they want to increase the CCMR rigor in order to prepare students for a more rigorous secondary opportunity, and so that students are able to persist through college. So this is some of the information and research that's been done thus far. Basically, as they started making all the changes with CCMR, TEA did a study, and they determined that when this occurs, that they will drop in percentage points by about 18 percentage points. And they also did the same study. Commit did a study for us on our behalf and determined that we would drop potentially by 17 percentage points. And so I wanted to just bring that to you all's attention, just so that you'll know as we make our way to 2030, which is our group that's in 8th grade right now who's ascending to 9th grade. that group is the group that we gotta keep all of our eyes on and ensure that our strategies that we have in place are going to keep us from having that impact. And we are doing that, and Dr. Barker is gonna share some things with us in a little bit to kind of tell us what we're doing to kind of make sure that that happens. So the next thing I wanted to point out is that this is a chart that's showing you the foundational, demonstrated, and advanced categories. So these will be the three weighted areas for CCMR. And in a nutshell, that foundational group, you can treat it like the approach is demonstrated, you can treat like the meats, and the advanced you can treat similar to our master's group. And just in a real plain nutshell, they really want us to make sure we're having a big focus and emphasis on TSI and dual credit. And so if you look at that last column, you can see all of the high flyers over there will be over there, like associate degrees, tier 1 industry-based certifications, military with high ASVAB scores, and then of course the TSI combination with either advanced placement, on-ramps, or dual credit. And so not to go into too heavy into the weeds, but I just want to make sure that everybody understands, right now our CCMR system is set up where it's 1 point for anything that a student earns as a CCMR indicator, we get the 1.4. Now, when we go into this new system in 2030, it's going to be weighted, which means that advanced will count more for more points, like 3 points, and then demonstrated will be 2 points, and then foundational will be 1 point. So that's going to be very different, unlike what we have currently. So this is a section that I wanted Dr. Barker to kind of elaborate on, if that's possible. These are some of our strategies that we've been working into, and under Dr. Pereira and Dr. Barker's guides, they've been guiding us on this well before these changes came about.
So she put me on the spot. Good evening, Madam Board President, distinguished board, Superintendent Dr. Pereira. I do want to make one point on this last one. Just as Ms. Bell said, we have no tier 3 certifications. All of our certifications are tier 2. That also means at this time, we have no tier 1 certifications. So if we look over in advanced, you notice tier 1 certifications are there. So we have to work on the career readiness side to get us to tier 1 certifications. So some of the safeguards, and even around in our DIP, we've been working on this for a while, looking at moving TSI 2 down to 8th grade, trying to get as many 8th graders TSI ready as possible. We've also moved some other things down to 8th grade in making sure that we start on our career pathways, because even if our students are tier 1 certified, have a tier 1 certification, they have to be a completer, a pathway completer. So by starting in 8th grade, starting early, that helps to give more opportunities so that they are completed in a pathway. We've increased and I'm not going to read through all of these. We've increased dual credit opportunities. You notice this year we will have students to graduate from the comprehensive side, graduate with an associate's, and we've also this year increased the number of early college graduates. It's now in the 80s to where last year it was in the 60s. And so
91
91
as of
total,
yesterday.
91 total. So we have increased those. We've talked about a couple of other things that will also kind of safeguard us. Again, moving things into the middle school. So the state has encouraged us and incentivized to move more students into Algebra 1, into that advanced pathway. But we're also going to add at least one high school course to the middle school. We learned today that we get bonus points in the accountability system by doing that, and we were already on track to do that. So I won't go through all of them. I'll pass it back to Ms. Bell.
Thank you, Dr. Barker. So this slide is just actually to remind everyone that we had 83% CCMR met with our class of 2020, with the accountability year for 2025. And don't forget that CCMR is 1 year in arrears. So this is our accountability year 2025, but this is our 2024 cohort. So this particular slide I included in there because what I really want you to do is a little self-study, so you guys have a little bit of homework. And I want you to just kind of study and look to see how students are matriculating from 9th grade through 12th grade and looking at their various programs that they have at play. And notice in the row where it says CCMR, you'll see how that student lands. So essentially, if you see like in student A, the student is matriculating up there in a particular construction program, but by the end of the 12th grade, because that particular program is a Tier 3 industry-based certification, and they did all the things that they need to do, but they would still fall under the foundational category. So the work that our team is faced with is looking at a student like that potentially and figuring out how can we ramp that student up so that they can be under the advanced category. And I'll just tell you that one of our plays is that we're going to try and make sure we ensure as many students as we could, like Dr. Barker said, who are dual credit and TSI Med, so that we can land our players under, many of them under the advanced category. This is actually just showing you how they come up with the metrics and adding it up. And so as mentioned earlier, advanced will be more points, and then the meets or the middle category will be fewer points, and then of course the foundational category will be the fewest points. So just knowing that they're going to be weighting it, and I wanted to share that with you as well. Wanted you to have information at your fingertips, so if you wanted to go back and just look at one slide to recap everything that I said tonight, fast and furiously, you can go to this particular slide and recoup everything that was stated tonight. And last but certainly not least, I wanted to just leave you with this information. It's just touting the work that we're doing here in Lancaster. So very proud that we are surpassing the state in many areas. So this is again reflecting our last year accountability year with 560 grads. And then we had 82% or 83% of our students who have met CCMR, again surpassing the state there. Industry-based certifications, we had 48.7, surpassing the state there. Dual credit opportunity, we had 27.6, surpassing the state there. Earned associate degrees, we had 8.6, surpassing the state there. And college enrollees, we had 71.5, and again, surpassing the state there. And then I want to just say to Dr. Pereira, how many times have we had 100% graduation? 5.
This will be the 5th year.
5th year, going on our 5th year with 100% graduation rates. And that's it for me this evening. Thank you. I'll take any questions at this time.
Hey, thank you so much. We'll take questions from the board, but Dr. Ferrer has a comment.
Yeah, I just wanted to take a point of privilege as superintendent and highlight Dr. Barker and her team for leading that work and ensuring that we are getting there with that 100% graduation rate. That's all 560 of our young seniors that will be graduating on June 2nd. Some of them graduating tomorrow night with their associate's degree. At least 91 of them will be. Thank you.
Right, we'll take questions, comments from the board. Ms. Nichols?
Yeah, sure. Thank you all for the presentation, and thank you for your hard work and attention to detail.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
important. I just had a question in reference to the last page, and I'm sure I can get this later. I don't need nothing now. It's nothing saying that you're doing a great job, okay? That's all I want. Are we able to compare on that last page that you have, just for trending purposes? Are we able to trend from what we did last year in these areas as well? I just want to be able to show that great percentage of accomplishments as well as we move forward into the next year, if we can just have that information. Great job, team.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, Madam President, I have
Mr. Jones?
a couple of questions. First and foremost, happy birthday
Thank you, sir.
once again. I know we spoke about Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. Would you identify what the differences are?
So basically, the state has taken all of the industry-based, possible potential industry-based certifications, and they tier them based on high wage, high demand, and they did it at the state level. So the top tier 1 is about 5%. Overall, and so it's really kind of the number of industry-based certifications at the top, at the tier 1 level is really kind of limited, but each one of those brackets is basically high wage, high demand, and then the second bracket is like just tiered down from that, and the last bracket, tier 3, is not necessarily high wage, high demand. So as it keeps tiering down, it just means that they're not as high wage, high demand type opportunities. And Dr. Parker is going to chime in on that.
So let me give you an example. We right now have patient healthcare tech certification, patient
care tech. Patient care tech.
Okay. A tier 1 certification would be an occupational therapy assistant, aide. So that would be the difference. So we would have to change some of our programming in order to get there. So we have to start with this year's 9th graders to be ready. Part of the reason that we talked about this is there are budget implications as it relates to this. Pushing more kids into associate's degrees, there are budget implications with that. We also, with the bulk of our, and I was telling this to Dr. Carrera today, with the bulk of our industry-based certifications being tier 2, and those are things like our culinary, our cosmetology. Those are some of the areas that many of our students are drawn to. We don't want to say don't do it because it's tier 2. So it's up to us to figure out how do we get them into that advanced level. That could mean that we attach it to a college course, which again, there's a budget implication for that. So there are some things, just as Ms. Bell said, for you all to start thinking about at your leisure. We have to make some decisions. We have to make some decisions with our CTE building. Do we want to be in a district? And if we do, how we are right now doesn't put us into the advanced area. It barely puts us in meets. And if we continue as we are, that 17 percentage points changes us from a 75 minus 17. So that's really what that means, if you kind of look at it that way. It is percentage, but that's, in my mind, that's the way I look at it. We're a C, kind of mid as a district, but if we look at if we stay as we are, we will struggle to be a D. So we have to start really thinking about what that means for us as a whole, and how do we want to move forward, and where we want to make some investments.
Okay, thank you. You may want to stay up there, I don't know.
I'm trying to go back and drink my crystal light.
So I know our House Bill 3 goal is 90% by 28-29. I know the metric that we have up here is showing 82.6. Are we on pace to reach that with these different initiatives that have been put in
So we
place?
said yes, because we didn't say if it was tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3. So yeah, we are on track to meet our goals. We just probably need to shake that out a bit in our DIP as to what it means as it relates to the new standards.
Okay. And then I know we've invested in some programs over the last 2 years with TSI to testing and preparation. How are those initiatives going?
Fantastic. We will have this year more students TSI met than we've ever had. So fantastic. We had some things that we've done on our side for math, and that has helped. It has increased the rigor in the math courses, and we have, I think Ms. Jett or someone had reported out, we have more students who have passed TSI in math at this point than we did last year. And then we strategically partnered and honed in exactly where we needed to have some remediation. We had our partner come here and present last year, and we've asked them only to focus on the English part. We're very lucky that he's able to pull in college professors to help our students, and some of our students, that's their first exposure to having a college professor. Hopefully that gets them to even think about that as their next step. But that has helped us tremendously as well. So I've been in contact with them about what the summer looks like. They will be helping us this summer. And then also, as we look to have more of our 8th graders testing, we're working on a plan for that for next year already. Go ahead.
I just wanted to mention too, that at the board meeting, committee is actually gonna come and recognize us for the increase that we have, within the Dallas region, Dallas County region with our TSI performance and growth. We have the highest growth as a district, so it's a huge recognition. They're gonna come and present a check for $1,500 and, just kind of tout about the progress that we made, so, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And my last question is, I know we've talked about middle school math being a area of challenge for us. And of course, this transitions into high school and so on and so forth. What programs are we putting in place to address that moving forward?
Well, I will say that transitioning to Bluebonnet has helped us a whole lot. It's helped to build a foundation where we know exactly where those gaps are. So that's not only for middle school, but that's all the way down into our elementary. We have, with making sure that we strengthen our teachers. So, and as you know, the middle school is going to be in an ACE model, so we have more resources. We've hired differently. We're very fortunate to have pulled some teachers from other districts and even within our district who are already TAI, TIA, all of these acronyms, TIA recognized, so that helps as well. To be honest, Trustee Jones, one of the things that I have seen that hurts not only us in math, but across the region, probably across the state, is just depth of knowledge around the concepts. So for us to be able to strengthen our teachers in that way, that helps to strengthen the kids, because one of the worst things that could happen is if they can't break down what the problem is that the kid has with the problem. And so we're trying to strengthen our teachers. Sustain Ed, another partner, is helping us to do that as well. But it is a mystery that we're trying to continue to unlock, because we have to look at a certain percentage of students from their 5th grade STAR and put them on track for accelerated math. And we've increased that number. Lancaster was already ahead of the charge, because we, even prior to Dr. Pereira coming here, that was something that the district had already done, had kind of tracked our students early and pushed them into Algebra 1. We've had great success with that, but we've grown that number since we've been here. And so hopefully that pays dividends later on.
All right, well, thank you. Definitely look forward to these upcoming scores, and I know the scores don't make the child, but of course that's what the state kind of evaluates us on, and I want to commend you and the team for the work that you've done thus far.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Pereira?
Ms. Morris?
I was just saying stay.
I'm not gonna have you to answer all those questions. It was very detailed. But I can say personally, watching for the last 4 years, so I'm gonna give that 1 year, but that y'all came out very strong, very strong. I'm very proud of that under Dr. Pereira's leadership and what you all are doing to support our students. And it doesn't just start in high school. I can speak highly before they get to the 3rd grade test. The growth that is going on, and I personally appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I do want to add one thing, Trustee Jones. One thing that we made that helps with growing the math, with the accelerated learners, we changed what GT is in this district. When we first came, we were pulling GT students out of core classes, out of everywhere. Ms. Morris even came, what, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, was able to kind of see what they were doing. When Lancaster became the first STEM district, one of the things that was very much ingrained in what Lancaster did was the PBLs, the problem-based learning. And so with COVID and the shutdown and everything, we kind of had to go away from that. But one of the things that we knew from our own data and that we know is that the PBLs is something that our GT students not only like, but they actually need that. And so you all witnessed a lot of what the PBL was in the state of the district. You saw what our students were were doing. They were given a card with a problem. Go solve it. And so there's a lot of math in there, there's a lot of science in there, a lot of engineering, but we tried to take GT, some of our specialty areas, and make sure that places where we needed strengthening, like math, like 5th grade science, that our students would experience it there. So we do have some parents who want their kids in GT. We can't service all of them in GT, but at some point, and Pereira says all the time, everybody should be doing this. We do want to push that into our class, but that supports the math growth as well.
All right, thank you. Madam President. I yield.
Yeah, Mr. Smith?
Oh, I'm sorry, if you have other, I'd go and get them out.
Yeah, I have one more. If we could go back.
Go ahead.
If we can advance, I think, to the slide that talks about our safeguard plan. Yeah, this one right here. So I know we have 91 associate recipients this year, dual credit, you don't have to have that number. So, but these are the focuses that we're gonna ascertain or implement to ensure that we get our 90% and above by our established goal.
Some of them.
Okay, all right, thank you.
After what we learned today from TEA, we may be tweaking that a bit.
All right,
So
thank
we
you.
probably should put draft across there for sure. That's what we knew prior to today. So Ms. Bell and I went to a training at Region 10, found out, like I said, about bonus points, which still blows my mind that in the accountability system, you can gain bonus points. So that needs to have draft on there. It'll probably look different.
All right, Mr. Smith?
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for the information. Will the board be a part of the evaluation process where you guys look over all of the IBCs that are being retired and offered in the future? So I know they have a, I'm looking at the list, it looked like about 400 of them.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm only asking because there seems to be a significant number of cybersecurity
Yep.
offerings, and I happen to know somebody that might be interested in helping in that arena.
So we've been talking about looking at our pathways and seeing at the end where we could spread out, meaning well, let me start at the end, I'm rambling. Let me start at the end, we looked at where we could cluster them, and then backward map. Because what we find is that we are jack of all trades, master of none. So we know that there are a lot of IT certifications there. Actually, the most are in IT. However, that's not our largest program. So we're trying to figure out right now how we can start and then at the end offer the multiple certifications. But it's not our largest right now offering, our largest demanded pathway.
Got it.
But yeah, if you know someone, let us know, because in that area, that's a tough place for us to be able to hire, because schools don't pay what industry pays.
True.
And so we find ourselves taking a computer science teacher, which is a coder, and having them to get in the cybersecurity area. Totally different mindset, thinking, all of that. I said today to Dr. Pereira, I said, that's like asking an algebra teacher to teach geometry or a biology teacher to teach chemistry. It's totally different. But it's tough for us to be able to hire for that. So we'll have to partner. We have to be very, very creative in order to get our students that experience, because we're competing against the larger districts around who can offer different types of incentives. So whoever you know, shoot them over.
I'll definitely do that.
Even if it's you in your next life.
In 2 weeks, I may consider that.
Madam President?
I just make another item. So I know we're building a technology center, and I was only bringing it up because there's a lot of opportunity, and I just thought it'd be prudent to include my comrades.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be an awesome opportunity. Keep me in mind. I'll keep you guys in mind as well.
Oh, no, send it over. We'll do more than keep in mind.
Okay, Dr. Pereira, you had another comment?
Yes, this screen that's up, I'd like for everybody to just really look at that. And I know that Ms. Bell talked to you about doing some homework on this, but something that is bothering me as a superintendent and as an educator, period, and or as a parent, I'm really concerned at the major push at the state level for CCM. One thing that attracted me to this district was the mindset of going to college, that we begin with our elementary kids. And what I'm seeing with the new accountability is there's more focus on this than it is the other pieces. And that concerns me, knowing that Texas has one of the highest rates of first-gen attendees of four-year universities is concerning to me, and I'm just putting that out there on the air and on record, that I am concerned that this push without extra resources distracts, if you will, for lack of a better word, I don't have a better one right now, our students on that focus of going on to college. But I'll say that in the same breath to say that I don't believe everybody, wants to go to college, but I think everybody should have the option to do either one. And with the focus here, I feel like school districts now are going to focus on this more so than the other part. So I'm just putting that out there in the air. The accountability system has changed every year I've been here. Every year. And that's 5 years, and continues to move. It concerns me, especially about our students in underserved situations. So just had to say that.
Madam
Any more
President?
questions, comments?
Yeah, if I could, just to piggyback on what Dr. Pereira is stating, I mean, as a board, we have the authority to put systems in place and set goals that fortify and undergird what she's stating. So
Yes, sir.
As we begin to move in that direction, let's definitely think about that to ensure that we are, when our kids leave us, they leave with more than a diploma, and if the path is going to college, then be it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, I'd just like to say thank you all so much for your hard work as always, and I thank you all for being proactive versus reactive.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to B under teaching and learning, discussion of dual credit waiver for Lancaster Early College. Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to call forward Dr. LaCour to share that information with our board and our community. Dr. LaCour, the floor is yours, hon, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Board President, distinguished board members, and Dr. Pereira. Tonight, I would like to discuss the dual credit waiver for Lancaster STEM Early College High School calendar. I'm waiting on somebody else to push it. For the 2026-27 school year, we are seeking future board approval for the dual credit waiver for Lancaster Early College High School calendar. Essentially, this means our early college students will follow Dallas College academic calendar and will be placed on a different track for attendance. We will need to submit a waiver to TEA to ensure funding is not impacted, and future board approval is required for this process. I've included for your leisure a link to review the dual credit waiver handbook for more details. I will take any questions at this time. The information that, if someone wanted to see it, is on page 49.
Thank you, board. Any questions, comments? Okay, hearing none. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to C, WeBo School-Based Health Clinic Update. Dr. Marcus Jackson.
Greetings, Madam President, distinguished board members, and Superintendent Dr. Pereira. I would actually, at this time, like to give you an update on where we are in regards to the WeBo market. Before I begin, I want to give recognition to Dr. Matthews. She was the one who actually is attending all the meetings. She is the one who meets with the architects. She is the one that meets with Dr. Pereira. She is the backbone and the central nervous system of this particular project. So when you see her, make sure you say thank you, Dr. Matthews, and we appreciate you, Dr. Matthews, and I'm just presenting. We're on the same team. Here is a little image of how our WeBo Health Center may look. As you can see, in the first two areas, we got the target completion deadline, which is October of this year, and our absolute deadline of November 26th of this year, if the weather cooperates. As you know, we did get an increase. We had a $203,000 increase with our grant, and those two grants actually go together, and they actually will last until August 31st, 2027. We initially, in our floor plan, wanted to have dental services. But as we got with the architects, that was going to be an additional $753,000 to almost $1 million. So we actually took that portion out of the budget, and actually we partnered with some of our local dentists to ensure that our students who are attending the Weibo Clinic will have an opportunity to get dental work as well. And this is an example floor plan of our facility. And now we're at stage 4, where we're actually ready to present all the reviewed drawings and completions to the city for their approval. So we're ready to start building probably no later than late June, middle of July. And this is what I'm most excited about here. One of the things Dr. Pereira and Dr. Barker would preach all the time was sustainability. What are we going to do when the funding runs out? Well, Dr. Pereira had to present a letter to Foremost that was actually presented to the feds, and they received a substantial amount of money for that sustainability piece that I was speaking of. And as you can see, one of the things we were worried about was who's going to employ all of these individuals, and Foremost has picked up the tab. We're going to have a nurse practitioner, an LVN, a front desk receptionist, a bill manager, and the city will be providing the security, which is from 3 to 8. So we're in good hands. And of course, these are our next steps. We're in the stage where we're actually finalizing everything to begin our construction. Thank you. Any questions?
All right, thank you. Any questions, comments? Ms. Nichols?
Thank you so much for your presentation. I'm really excited about this. Just one question I have.
Okay.
Would we be able to have volunteers at this facility?
That's a great question. Now remember, Foremost would actually take care of all this, so the school actually would be kind of offhand. So Foremost would be in charge of any volunteers, but I'm quite sure there are some discussions on even some of our students who are in the health field actually picking up some hours there. So that discussion is there.
That's so great. Great job with your team, and I like the fact that you recognized your staff.
Yes.
Who really took the lead on this, and you guide them. So
She's been working
thank you so much.
tirelessly on
Thank
this,
you.
so make sure you tell
Appreciate
her.
it.
You're welcome.
Right, anyone else?
Madam,
Ms. Morris?
Dr. Pereira, thank you so much for having your staff and Dr. Jackson to bring this to life. It's needed. We know where we are in our school district economically, and so this will definitely help parents. We have a dream that the parents would get an understanding to see the importance of building bridges between home and school and home, where they would take full advantage to what the district is doing and all the staff members, because we know we got to get them to play into this, because this is a health care situation, and nothing can be done without their signatures.
Correct.
So thank you so very much.
You're welcome. Dr. Pereira had a vision 4 years ago to remove any and every barrier that a kid had. She told a horrific story about one of her students who passed away, and that was simply because he had an abscess and he was unable to be treated. We started with the Weibo Market. Now we have the Weibo Clinic, and we've become a step in regards to meeting the needs of all of our students. Now Duncanville and all the other districts are following and trying to find out what can we do with our district. But we're the first, as always.
Right. Madam President, one more quick question. Are we tied to, are you all tying to what hospital in the area?
Foremost is responsible for the staff and actually the doctor.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so what hospital, like if our clinic find there is an emergency aid, what hospital would they contact?
I would actually have to get with Dr. Matthews on that,
Okay.
and I can get that to you very quickly, probably before this meeting is out.
That's fine, thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Mr. Jones?
all right, Dr. Jackson, thank you for this information, and also Dr. Pereira and the team for bringing this to us. I believe 2014, 15 maybe, Lancaster ISD was the first district to have telehealth within the district. So this also marks another landmark for us to have a in-district medical facility. So my questions, and I may have missed this, and if I do, it's going to be easy answers for you. Which services will the students have access to? I know you mentioned dental.
Yes, the dental actually won't be there.
Okay.
That was one of the ones we actually had to take out. But this is actually traditional health immunization and mental health for adults, our teachers, students, and staff, parents, and students as well. But mostly mental health and, of course, immunization clinic as well.
Okay, thank you. My next question, when will students have access or be able to access the facility?
As soon as we open. We're going to have the big ribbons cutting ceremony like we did with the Weibo Market. But currently, right now, we are able to provide the immunization right there at the middle school, right next door at the middle school. And today, we actually had meningitis shots for the students at the high school and those 6th grade students who are rising 7th graders at GWC. We were giving shots out today as well.
Okay. My next question is there a qualification period, or how do the students qualify to receive the services?
Of course, there's an application process that they may go through, but one thing about the foremost with the huge grant that they receive, if they don't have insurance, no one will be turned away.
Okay. My last question is, have we thought about doing any kind of academic alignment with the facility, be it data, something there that we can kind of put into the classroom for our students to kind of analyze and see the real world application?
That actually discussion is actually in play right now with CTE and Ms. Murray, as we're able to, if you saw at the State of the Schools, we had a CPR station there, so we're trying to combine those particular two for some possible internship work.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Cortez?
Yes, I had a question also. You didn't mention, but is TB testing going to be a part of that clinic area?
Yes, we'll have a physician there, so so if they need tuberculosis testing, yes, they can get that at the clinic as well.
And also, Dr. Jackson, for this board in the community, can you remind us the address and where this facility is going to be located?
That's at the, it's right there at the current Trial Nutrition Center, right there next to GWC.
Gotcha.
I don't know the actual address to that building. 1105. It's on there?
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Dr. Purr, you have something?
Yes, I wanted to say that I know Dr. Jackson's presenting this information and a number of his team members are working on it, but I also wanted to highlight the fact that I know that this has come through cabinet and every cabinet member has had input on this opportunity for our students, as well as team instruction has taken it with Dr. Barker and sharing that, looking at how we can ensure that our students benefit from it. And I'll just say to the board and the community, I'm just a strong believer in Maslow's hierarchy of needs before the Bloom's taxonomy of instruction and teaching. The thing is that, you know, if you're not safe, you're not healthy, you're not feeling good, doesn't matter what kind of a level of instruction that you have. And so, yes, this was sort of personal for me at the beginning. I had a student who died from an abscessed tooth and became sepsis. And that was unnecessary and just beyond my belief in 2011. And so health-based care, school-based health care is very important. And to your question about the dental piece, we are partnering with some local dentists, but I think I got to get the first thing first. We're going to chunk and chew this. The dentistry piece is also obviously very important as well. But we're going to get this first. And we've also just recently gave meningitis shots for our students. We've had that arrangement, and we've also arranged for every athlete to have an opportunity to have their physicals done within our district as well. So we're giving opportunities for sure. We still want our families to be able to embrace those. Again, Maslow's before Bloom's, and I'll end there because I know we have some more presentations.
Madam President, I just want to make a quick statement.
Ms. Morris.
Thank you very much. You know, when Trustee Cortez asked the address. Was that you asked the address? Yes. It was a throwback because that was the administration building when I first came on with the district. Right there, when you walk in that door to the left is where we had our boardroom, our board meetings. And so that was really a throwback memory. That building was so small. So somebody asked me, "Are you all growing?" And I said, "Are we growing? Have you looked at our administration building now?" So thank you so much for utilizing that building. You know it, Ms. Simpson, don't you?
Okay. Mr. Jones?
Yeah, Dr. Jackson, one other thing. I know during registration last year, we had several parents who had concerns or did not have their immunization shots. Will we be able to utilize this facility to kind of streamline that process?
Absolutely,
Awesome.
absolutely. And we're actually making a huge push this summer to ensure that all those students have their shots before registration actually starts. So that number should decrease immensely this year when you walk into the registration.
All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, any other questions, comments? Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're going to move to maintenance and operations. A, child nutrition update, Dr. Pereira.
I think we have one more. D.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm checking them off. Okay, we'll move to D under teaching and learning. Discussion of Texas Teacher Evaluation and Support System, T-TEST. Pilot overview, Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, Madam President. Ms. Stevenson is already at the podium to deliver that information to our board and our community. Ms. Stevenson, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Board President Hamilton, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Dr. Pereira. I'm Tatanisha Stevenson, Director of Classroom Innovation and Culture, and tonight I'd like to provide an update on Lancaster ISD's participation in the T-TEST 2 pilot through the Texas Education Agency. Lancaster ISD was selected as one of only 13 independent school districts across the state to participate in this pilot process. This opportunity allows our district to help shape the future of Texas teacher evaluation systems while ensuring that our instructional practices remain aligned to high-quality teaching and student success. Our participation gives us direct access to training, feedback opportunities, and collaboration with TA as they refine the updated T-TEST system before statewide implementation. The refresh of T-TEST is centered around one primary goal: defining excellent teaching and learning for Texas educators and students. The updated system is intended to accomplish two things simultaneously. First, support teachers in continuously improving their instructional effectiveness, and second, provide districts in the state with a clearer framework for recognizing and rewarding excellent teaching. One of the most significant updates in T-TEST 2 is the restructuring of the evaluation domains. The current T-TEST system contains 4 domains. Under T-TEST 2, these areas have been streamlined into 3 instructional domains. In addition, there's a separate professional practices and responsibilities component that focuses on professional behavior, goal setting and self-reflection, professional development, communication, and partnership. As part of the pilot, Lancaster ISD administrators and teachers will participate in a revised observation and feedback process during the 26-27 school year. And the purpose of this is to make feedback more timely, actionable, and connected to day-to-day instructional practice. Our role will be to provide honest feedback on implementation, effectiveness, workload, and overall educator experience. To support implementation, TA is also providing grant funding to participating districts. Grant awards range from approximately $75,000 to $200,000 depending on district size and associated implementation costs. These funds may be used for administrative support, training and travel, data needs, and other appraisal-related implementation costs. And TA is in the process of finalizing the grant details and will reach out to us directly, hopefully very soon, with the amount that we are receiving at our district. An important next step in the T-TEST pilot process is appraiser training. And Lancaster ISD will be hosting this training on July 22nd. Campus administrators and appraisers from Lancaster and other Participating districts will be participating in an in-person training focused on developing a shared understanding of instructional excellence. In closing, Lancaster ISD is honored to be a part of this important statewide initiative. Participating in the T-Test 2 pilot positions our district at the forefront of instructional leadership and educator development across Texas. At this time, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, comments from the board?
Madam President, I got a couple.
Mr. Jones?
Night's my night, I'm sorry. Happy birthday, Miss Bell.
That was it? You didn't have a question?
No, I do.
Okay.
So, with the T-test, what tool are we using to kind of track that? I know in previous years there was, you had to use an iPad, or even what would you use way back when y'all used something else, like a Palm Pilot, I believe. What tool will the administrators use to kind of track when they're going within the classrooms?
We all have our Apple devices. Okay. So principals can have iPads, but most of us have our MacBooks, and that's what we utilize. But anyone can use their phone. It's all accessible, through Eduphoria. So all of our rubrics and things like that are uploaded in Eduphoria, so you can access them through our Apple devices.
Okay. And then going back in the day, so when do the teachers have to submit their goals and that stuff in? Have you guys established those dates and time frames yet?
So that's one of the things we're going to work on the July 22nd training, but that's usually by the end of September. By October, all goals should be uploaded into our system. And then we revisit those at the middle of the year and then also again at the end of the year.
All right, thank you. And the reason I pose the question is this goes back to what Dr. Barker mentioned earlier as relates to building capacity with those math teachers and just figuring out a way to kind of make sure we're tracking that and then providing them with the necessary resources to build their capacity.
Absolutely, and T-Test 2 is more specific and detailed, so it leaves some of the subjectiveness out and it's more objective.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That concludes my questions.
All right, thank you. Anyone else have questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now we'll move on to maintenance and operations. A is child nutrition update. Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to call forward Dr. Kimbrough to present that information to our board and our community. Dr. Kimbrough, the floor is yours, sir, whenever you are ready for a child nutrition update.
Good evening, President Hamilton, distinguished Board of Trustees, and Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Pereira. I bring you our child nutrition updates. Our focus closing out this school year is really having our students involved in promoting the child nutrition program. As you can see at LHS and BAMO, these pictures were taken. Students did surveys, and they also were rewarded with our new ice cream samples that are coming up for the new school year. And these surveys, we using to build a menu, to put things on the menus that the kids like, and also remove items that they really don't care for, and just keep promoting the child nutrition program. Also, the Rove and Chef had a chance to visit Rolling Hills in April. Again, building and promoting our child nutrition program. Students had a chance to create meals with the chef. Also had a moment to visit PRE for the farmers market. We had this event before at Rosa Parks, but we're taking it to every campus, and all of these events that we're doing in child nutrition is to promote the program on our highest tenet and just teach our students about food and good eating habits. Any questions?
All right, thank you. Any questions, comments? Ms. Morris.
Learn behavior. That's great. Taking away the candy, the soda, and providing something that's healthy. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam President.
Ms. Jones.
With the menu selection, you mentioned slide 1 or slide 2. Will that information be utilized to assist in next year's menu?
Yes.
That's what we're doing?
Yes. Every time we do them periodically. Every time we send out those surveys, it's on the items that are on the menu now, because it rotates every 3 weeks. So some items we actually get off in that 3-week cycle.
All right.
But we also can look at the participation numbers and we can see which items do well and which items do not do that well.
All right, thank you, sir. And I know in the previous presentation, you had mentioned high school participation was waning. Are we identifying some different ways to build that participation rate?
Yes, that's what the surveys are for.
Okay. Thank you, sir. That concludes my questions.
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday, Ms. Bell.
Okay, anyone else have anything? Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next on the agenda is closed session. So A is discussion of personnel updates. B, discussion of employment of administrative and instructional personnel. C, consideration and approval of employment contracts for the 26-27 school year. D, consideration and possible action concerning proposed non-renewals of term contract employees and termination at the end of the contract of non-Chapter 21 employees. E, discussion to sell district property by competitive sealed bid. F, consult with district's attorney on any subjects or matters authorized by law, including any matters listed on this meeting agenda notice, pending or contemplated litigation and proposed settlements, Texas Government Code 551.071. G, discussion concerning the roles and responsibilities and ethical provisions governing public officer conduct, Section 551.074. H, consider the reports from counsel for all pending legal matters. The time is 6:42. The board will convene into closed session. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Okay. The board is going to return into open session. The time is 7:37 p.m. Okay, board, we have some action items from closed session. The first one will be A, which is discussion of personnel updates. This is in reference to the Laura letters, the letters of reassurance. Is there a motion? Okay, I'll make the motion for a letter of reassurance for Armani Lee. Is there a second? Have a second by Ms. Morris. So we have a motion by President Hamilton, second by Secretary Morris for letter of reassurance for Armani Lee. If you all could please vote from your devices.
Vice President Queenie Nichols, whenever you're ready.
Oh, wait a minute, I don't think it's,
Go to the previous meeting.
yeah, I don't think it's set me.
Trustee Janae Cortez, whenever you're ready.
Madam Secretary, I don't have anything on the screen.
I don't have anything.
Okay, you probably need to refresh your screen.
Yeah, I have.
Ms. Nichols did it, it still didn't come up.
Can I just
Okay,
give
would you like to do a verbal?
vote, please? Yes,
Ms.
Okay.
Nichols?
mine is yes.
Ms. Cortez?
Yes.
Trustee Taji Jones?
It's in there.
I'm sorry?
It's in there. Check system.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Happy birthday, Ms. Bell.
Madam President, for the motion to approve letter of reassurance for Armani Lee, motion made by President Marion Hamilton, seconded by Secretary Carolyn Morris. Motion carried unanimously.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, for the next personnel, we have another letter of reassurance. Is there a motion? I'll make the motion for a letter of reassurance for Romney Pereira. Is there a second?
Madam,
Have a second by Ms. Morris. So the motion was made by myself, President Marion Hamilton, second by Secretary Morris for a letter of reassurance for Romney Pereira. If you all will please vote from your devices.
what's it, my thing? Right here, right? Still won't come out, watch.
Vice President Queenie Nichols, would you like to do a verbal vote?
You should have-
Trustee Janae Cortez, would you like to do a verbal vote? Okay. Madam President, on behalf of the Lancaster ISD Board of Trustees to approve letter of reassurance for Romney Pereira. Motion made by President Marion Hamilton, seconded by Secretary Carolyn Morris. Motion carried unanimously.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, we'll move to C, which is consideration and approval of employment contracts for the 2026-2027 school year. Is there a motion?
Madam President, I would like to make a motion that we approve the employment contracts for 2026 to 2027 school year.
Okay, have a motion by Ms. Nichols, second by Ms. Morris to approve the employment contracts for the 2026-2027 school year. Please vote from your devices.
Oh, I have it, Secretary Morris. You voted.
Oh, you got it?
Madam President, on behalf of the Lancaster ISD Board of Trustees, you, Vice President Queenie Nichols, made a motion for the Board of Trustees to approve the issuance of probationary term and other employment contracts as appropriate for the 26-27 school year to employees recommended by the Superintendent of Schools pursuant to board policies. Seconded by Secretary Carolyn Morris. Motion carried unanimously.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, board, we'll move on to E, which is discussion to sell district property by competitive sealed bid. Is there a motion?
Madam President,
Ms. Cortez?
I'd like to make a motion that the board authorize of the pursuit to sell district property by competitive seal deal.
Bid. Okay, have a motion by Ms. Cortez. Is there a second?
Madam President, I second.
Okay, have a motion by Ms. Cortez, second by Ms. Nichols to authorize pursuant of sale of district property using competitive seal bid. If you all could please vote from your devices.
Trustee Cortez, whenever you're ready. Madam President, on behalf of the Lancaster ISD Board of Trustees, a motion was made by Trustee Janae Cortez to authorize to pursue the sale of district property by competitive sealed bid, seconded by Vice President Quinnie Nichols. Motion carried unanimously.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, at this time, we'll move on to reminders. Dallas College commencement ceremony for the class of 2026 will be tomorrow, May 14th at Curtis Colwell Center at 4999 Naaman Forest Boulevard in Garland at 6 p.m. Baccalaureate services for the class of 2026 will be May 17th, 2026, Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship, 1660 West Camp Wisdom Road, Dallas, Texas at 3 p.m. Lancaster High School graduation commencement ceremony for the class of 2026 will be June 2nd, 2026 at 6 p.m. Summer Leadership Institute will be held in San Antonio June 10th through 13th of 2026. Summer Leadership Institute Fort Worth will be June 17th through 20th. MASBA National Conference San Antonio, September 10th through the 11th, 2026. CUBE Annual Conference, Chicago, Illinois, October 1st through the 3rd, 2026. TASB TexEd Conference will be in Houston, October 8th through the 11th, 2026. Okay, we've come to the end of our agenda. Adjournment is the next item. Is there a motion for adjournment? Okay, all in favor of adjourn? Aye. We adjourn. The time is 7:45 p.m. Have a good night. Ms. Bell, enjoy the rest of your birthday.